I wanted to translate that knowledge to people in everyday life, be able to juggle having a full-time career, being in a relationship, and looking after your health. It's a difficult juggle. Okay, so it's quite often we get bogged down with work, and I wanted to be able to give people that release or that out, so they could have more energy, reduce their stress, and they could, be more productive throughout.
Hello, and welcome again to the Pathways Podcast, where we explore different careers in the Quebec City region. I'm your host, Susanna Tang, from Voice of English-Speaking Quebec. Today, I'll be speaking with Jarryd Smith about his career as a certified personal trainer and business owner. Jarryd has been helping people build stronger, healthier bodies for 12 years through his business called Fitness Machine. In addition, he organizes dad ventures with the Wellness Center, bringing free, fun activities to kids and their dads in Quebec City. What drew you to the fitness industry?
I suppose when I was in my teenage years trying to work out what I wanted to do, I was passionate about arts and graphics, and I was equally passionate about sports, health, and fitness. And when it came to the driving factors to make that decision into fitness, I liked playing team sports and found myself to be a leader. So it was a natural progression for me to continue that. With the arts and graphics, I did look into, architecture, draftsman, some sort of design and graphics and things like that. But I found I got really frustrated with that. I was quite pedantic about how I wanted things done, which led to a little bit of frustration. But I had a really good release from exercise, fitness, sport, being a part of a team. If I could lead a team, a fitness group, and get paid to do something that I love, that was the way to go. And that's where I found myself in that position now, 12 years down the track.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what sports did you play growing up? What did you do fitness-wise?
Yeah, fitness-wise, I was playing a lot of basketball and Australian football. I was working between both of those sports at an elite level. And that's where my passion for the really hard training, having a coach really push me, drive me, help to improve my performance. And I continued to play Australian football up until 2016. So I played 21 seasons in a row from juniors through to seniors. That's something I've taken with me, all the way through, most of my adult life.
So, of course, now you have to tell us, what is this Aussie rules football?
Australian football, how can I explain that? I'll try and keep it quick. It's on a really big sports field, probably about 1.5 times the size of a soccer pitch. It's an oval shape. You can handball the ball to a teammate, and the objective is to kick it through the two big sticks at the end. It's quite physical, so we have tackling, but it's not quite like rugby because the tackling the game is a 360-degree game, so you can get tackled from any direction. So once you've got the ball, you have to be really smart in your decision making to pass it to someone in a better position so you can move down the field to score. And the consequences are getting tackled or hit with we call it a shirt front or a check. That might be more familiar with the hockey terminology, but it's quite physical and quite demanding on the body, and the training was quite vigorous as well. But I really enjoyed that, that camaraderie in being a part of a team, working towards a common goal, something that's a bit bigger than the individual itself, working towards something to achieve, the ultimate prize, which would be winning a premiership.
No, that sounds amazing. I'm not sure about the tackling part, but everything else sounds great. So tell us about the training you did in order to become a fitness expert.
Yeah, so once I finished my high school, I went to Victoria University in Melbourne, Australia. And then from there, I got into the course I wanted to do, which was exercise science and human movement. Yeah, completed the course. It was a 3-year course. And I was able from that to choose the right subjects in that course framework to be a qualified personal trainer at the end of my bachelor degree.
Jarryd highly recommends that those contemplating a career as a fitness trainer complete a kinesiology degree at the university level. He also stresses the importance of passing a certification exam to be officially recognized as a personal fitness professional. Here, Jarryd explains why that qualification is essential.
You do need to be qualified so you can get the insurance to cover you as a fitness professional, because a lot of the time you're working with maybe a high risk population and don't want anything to go wrong. So you want to make sure your insurance is spot on.
Jarryd has turned his passion for fitness into a viable business. For the next set of questions, we're taking a closer look at entrepreneurship. Listen in as Jarryd breaks down his tasks and responsibilities. I'm thinking about your day-to-day, like what are some tasks or activities that you do in your job on a regular basis?
Yeah, it's funny because there is a lot. Because when I started out, I was just a personal trainer. I just wanted to help people train. And then obviously, once you go out on your own, there's a whole other department of business that you need to learn. So I've broken my business into 4 departments. So I have a marketing department. So anything from paid advertising on social media or organic social media. I outsource a lot of that work to an agency. So I'm dealing with an ads campaign specialist. Then I have sales, right? So anything from sales could look like starting a conversation, getting on the phone and like booking a call with them, and then maybe giving them a solution to join your program if you think that would be a good fit. Call my third department fulfillment. That's basically training my clients, programming, jumping on coaching calls with them, keeping them accountable, and actually running the actual physical or online training sessions. And the last department would be finance. At the end of the month, doing my profit loss sheets. I've got a scorecard where I'm able to mark myself on my conversion rates, my marketing metrics to see, just to keep myself accountable to make sure I'm doing the task. I mean, time's limited. It is hard to get everything done. You have to be, as an entrepreneur, you need to be able to wear a lot of hats. I'm not an expert at everything, but that's why I've outsourced a lot of work to experts who are better than me at things like that. I have a sales coach as well that help me keep me accountable to be able to complete the sales I need to do to keep the business running.
As Jarryd said, it's important for an entrepreneur to be versatile and develop multiple skills. But he also reminds us that you don't have to do or master everything by yourself.
I call it the solopreneur. So working for yourself, trying to do everything. I've been in there. It can be lonely and it can be hard work. And for example, doing the marketing, there's marketing experts out there. So if you want to go up against them on social media, you're going to get crushed. So you want to be able to have those guys on your team. So outsourcing, and yeah, it costs money to do that. But now I'm leveraging off their expertise. So I think that's important to build a network or a team around you. As I mentioned, trying to do it all on your own, yeah, it's cheaper, but it's a lot harder work.
And I know you've mentioned some already, but are there any other challenges you haven't mentioned of starting and running your own business?
There's definitely a lot of challenges, and I think if there's a word we can take away from this podcast, it would be, as an entrepreneur, you need to be agile. You need to be able to adapt to the situation and make good decisions quickly, but not be just focused on one solution, multiple solutions. And like for example, something that's quite common is time management. Like I mentioned, there's 4 departments, all require a lot of work. I do have a head in each department that is sort of taking control of that, but at the end of the day, it still needs to all come together and sync up together. So having time management, being productive, like having good productivity techniques, because I'm sure we're all guilty of this. Having foggy brains, sometimes you can sit in front of the laptop, overwhelmed, not sure where to start or what to get into. So having a really good daily action plan, which would be prioritizing time the night before. So when you get up, you start your day, you know what needs to be tackled, and it's always sort of good to start with the biggest or the hardest task of the day. So for me, that might be doing a sale. It takes a lot of energy. It's quite draining. You might get a lot of people saying no, so you can be a little bit disheartened. So that's easy to put on the back burner and say, I'm going to do that later. You really need to be in a positive mindset. You need to be driven. You need to be wanting to go out and do that, because that's the needle that moves the business. So, if I wanted to just train people and, make them have more energy, beat depression, combat stress, burn fat, or eliminate joint pain, I can help them do that. But if I don't have any clients to help, well, then I don't have a business. So what I need to focus on is starting a conversation with the prospect, getting them onto a phone call, and then making them an offer or giving them a solution so they can join my program. The more often I do that, the better position I'll be in. But in any business, there's sales, and sales is an important factor. So you really do need to learn to go out and sell your service or your product. And I truly believe it's probably the most valuable tool or skill I've been able to learn throughout running my business over the last 12 years.
Is there something in particular that you do better now in terms of sales? Like, is there a technique or a...
I think the product is important. I think building a strong rapport with the prospect is good. Yeah, it's about listening more, I think. Listening to the problems that the prospect is suffering with. As I mentioned, they might be they're struggling with fatigue, depression, being stressed, feeling overweight, and giving them a solution that's going to specifically help them.
All right, listeners. I'm sure Jarryd's made it clear now that being your own boss is not easy. So, what are the advantages?
I like to think that I have control over my schedule, but it is limited because I do have to be there for my clients. But what I like about is I don't have to justify, I don't have to ask to have time off. I don't have to ask the boss, I want to take 2 hours off this morning to go take my son to the park and play with. I can pencil out that. So I have full control of my time. Like I said, it is limited. I do need to give my clients my time as well. But there's flexibility. I think that's probably the better word to use, flexibility. I can shift clients in different time slots, and I can find the right time for me to have a balance between family life and my working life. So, and obviously my health as well. That comes into consideration. Finding time to look after myself. I think that's super important. Just going through COVID, I know a lot of people lost their jobs or got laid off temporarily. I didn't have any of those problems. So I take great satisfaction of no one is able to tell me I'm fired or I don't have a position anymore. So I did take a bit of a hit. I did lose some contracts, but going back to the sales, starting a conversation, booking a call, making an offer, if I do that, I'm going to be able to make up those lost contracts. So just knowing that, having those tools in place to understand, the timing and the position I'm in will leave me in a better position. Next, I wanted to know if Jarryd is offering his services in both languages. No, I'm still learning French. My conversation in French is short. At the moment, my client all bilingual. I am looking, that's the next step for me to expand my business in Quebec is I'm looking to partner up with someone in French so I can I've got all the systems set up. They are all in English, so I need to be able to translate that across to get my message across in French, because I think that will help expand my business here for sure. There's no doubt about that. Now, having said that, that means it is possible to work in English in your field in Quebec City? It does. So far, I'm doing most of my work in English in Quebec City, but I do have some corporate clients where I have gone in and I've run training sessions there. It's a little bit of franglais, it's a little bit of French and mostly English, but people have been quite understanding with my French. As long as I'm making a little bit of effort and doing as much as I can, they've been very accommodating and open to my services and open to the knowledge that I'm bringing them with my training. Final question. What advice do you have for high school students? My advice would be to follow your passion. I think that's one thing I definitely got right. I'm glad I did enter the fitness space. I do feel if you like what you do, you're going to do it. For example, I was playing the drums throughout high school, and it became like a chore to me. I liked it, but I didn't like it enough to do it. So if I was going up to my drum class and my instructor was asking if I'd done the homework, I hadn't done enough. I wasn't enjoying it as much. But with football or basketball training, I was really enjoying that. So I was actually doing that more. So I translated that into building my business as well. I just loved helping people, training with people, getting them the result. So I do highly recommend following your heart, following your passion, and then just never give up. You only lose when you quit. Okay, so for me, I see it as I win or I learn. I never lose until I quit. So I just keep working through that. But definitely follow your passion, follow your heart, follow your intuition, and I think you'll be successful with what you do, guaranteed. And that's all for this episode. Thank you again to our guest, Jarryd Smith, for sharing his experiences. We would also like to acknowledge the Government of Canada for funding this initiative. Join us next time for our talk with
Rochelle Levesque, about her work in international relations as a public service worker with the government of Quebec. This is the Pathways Podcast. Signing off, until next time.